Trump is serving the exact purpose I said he would serve. To put people's faith back into the reassurance ritual known as voting. That's the only purpose that he served. He didn't drain any swamp, he made it worse. Had $7 trillion in debt. And that's largely fictitious because, as we know, they've always just printed money. And there's nothing backing the money except for the military. So as long as the military can do whatever it wants, the money's backed. And if you try to get away from the system, you end up like Gaddafi and Saddam Hussein. So there's that in a nutshell. Now, whenever anybody calls out the Democrats for the shit that they do, which is not benefit black people working against people, and benefit the same corporations as the Republicans and push the same agendas as Republicans, outside of wedge issues and cultural war nonsense like Mexicans crossing the border, which is something that they brought up during the Bush administration, the Clinton administration, and Obama. It's like they recycle the same shit. They rotate these issues to keep you upset and play with the public's rage. It's all fake. And then they come with the debt ceiling. It's all the debt ceiling is, the debt ceiling that. Some random fucking war. Right now it's back in the Nazis in Ukraine. Because that's damn sure not about democracy. He's banned all opposition parties. And it's not really Zelensky. Zelensky's not in power. People in power in Ukraine are Nazis and the United States government. That's it. But I guess I can't talk about that because that's hate speech. Even though hate speech is free speech. And it's protected by the Supreme Court. 9 times out of 10, when they talk about hate speech, it's really just somebody saying some shit that the establishment doesn't like. That's why whenever I have something that I made a long time ago, it starts to become relevant, video disappears. Talked about the left-right paradigm being fake. Oh, it's hate speech. We just realized this is hate speech. It's literally what they said now. We just realized this is hate speech now. And you're not in trouble, but yeah, we gotta delete this because it's hate speech. Sorry. One time, what's his name? Jason Black released some kind of video saying something, and he didn't violate any rules. And since he has like 100,000 subscribers, they had to answer him. So they were basically like, yeah, it doesn't really violate anything, but we don't really like that shit, so we're just gonna remove it anyway. So fuck you, nigga. Like, this is really how they're rolling. See, these Aryans are locking it down. The Aryans are locking it down. And they don't want any sort of opposition to this race war. They don't want any opposition to this class war. And they damn sure don't want you to take up arms, which is what you need to do. And it's your right to do it, at least in this country. They just want you to sit there like a little pussy and take it. I mean, think of how absurd it is that you're facing tyranny from these oligarchs, and America is an oligarchy, it's not a democracy. And you have to get permission in this so-called free nation just to peacefully protest, aka be ignored and have absolutely no fucking effect on any of the policies shoved down your throat, because the only thing your vote does is benefit them. You're literally voting for their agendas, not yours. The whole entire essence of the lesser of two agendas, lesser of two evils, is absurd. It's ridiculous. I mean, you got these people that would talk all this shit about AOC. She's a super leftist and she's ruining everything and blah blah. Like, dude, this bitch is a goddamn right winger. As soon as people pushed for Medicare for all, she was totally against it. Blacks ask for reparations, she's totally against it. Everything she's for, the Republicans are for. She's just saying nonsense when you need to say it. Democrats in America are just Republicans who don't say the N-word. At least not publicly. That's all they are. Like, you can't really think of one leftist issue that any of these people push. And you notice, whenever you bring up any kind of black issue, what do? They start talking about gays. They literally use that to ignore everything that you need. Any and everything you need is ignored. And they'll just start bringing up gays. Gays. It's the same strategy used for George Floyd. You have the anti-police movement picking up steam because of the George Floyd death. What do? They drowned out the police corruption. They drowned out the police trafficking cocaine, which I got flagged for. They were saying that was bullying. They got drowned out the guys who raped that girl in the van. They drowned out Patricia Cook's murder. They drowned out Tempa's murder. They drowned out all these people coming together across different racial lines, different socioeconomic lines. Drowned all of that out with George Floyd Fest. And they never say what George Floyd did. Nobody even knows why he was arrested in the first place. And whenever you tell these white supremacists, these Aryans, why they did it, they start deflecting because you're not supposed to talk about it. You're only supposed to talk about the fact that he was a criminal. Like, well, he was a criminal, and I get that, but see the thing, I always go, no. They should have walked away. He spent $20. This was about $20. It was about $20, and the thing is, that should close the thread. That should close the thread at all times, because it was just about $20. The cops should have walked away, and then they drowned it out to cause division amongst all the goddamn groups. Then they ramped that up to the point where, after the riots, they needed a way to get things back to the status quo, which is being anti-black across the board. And that's when they flooded the media with what? Any and every black person doing crime ever. Even if the video was old. Blacks doing crime, blacks doing crime. This is a goddamn race war, and that's the kind of propaganda you push right before things get physical. And if black people don't take up arms and use their Second Amendment rights, it's going to get real nasty in these streets for you. These Aryans aren't playing, dude. And white people have been telling you this. Non-racist white people tell you this all the time. Like, this is propaganda. This is the kind of propaganda they used in Kosovo. You black people are going to end up in a situation similar to Kosovo. These fucking Aryans are already plotting. They've already been caught in cars talking about how they're plotting this race war. They catch you slipping all the time and blast you for jaywalking and all kinds of shit. You think these guys are just sitting around and they're not ready for you? They're ready to take you out. And you're talking this nonsense. Voting and downvotes. And none of that's worked. And it'll never work. And civil disobedience, that's just a goddamn joke. Civil disobedience has never, ever worked. Ever. What in the hell is that going to do? Nothing. You can talk about India. India, it only worked because the British couldn't afford to be there anymore. Because America, like I talked about a long ass time ago, bankrupted them right after World War II, when the Russians defeated the Nazis that were backed by the United States and England. We all saw the pictures of the princess and her family saluting Hitler. So there you go. Yeah. So, that's another rant from the O. That's all I got to say. Bitch.